This week on DC On Screen, what is the dark secret behind the name of Warner Media's new CEO? Ezra Miller did some shit we don't agree with, but chances are we're still somehow assholes to at least half of you. Babs Gordon makes it to Titans, Crisis done been messing with Lois's daddy, and we answer your burning questions, like... If the Terrifics are DC's answer to Fantastic Four, who should be their version of Doctor Doom?
What character had the most impactful death on the DC universe?
Do you consider Justice League Unlimited's episode epilogue canon? What's your favorite episode of the Andy Griffith Show? Dude, that's not even DC, but we answer it anyway! All that and so much freaking more! Right after this brief announcement from sponsors we have absolutely no control over.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Welcome into DC On Screen episode 591. I'm David C. Robertson, and this is my trusty co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
This is the podcast where we discuss... God, I do it every time! This is the podcast where we discuss the DC Comics multiverse on film and television, give honest opinions on projects upcoming and past, and believe that every version of a property is valid, even if we do not want it to be. If it has been released, it is fair game, so beware of spoilers. Welcome to the show.
I'm gonna do what I do for my daughter. Yay!
I know. I'm gonna change it to talk next week, I think. Where we talk the DC Comics multiverse on film and television. Just to get away from the, I don't know, the weird innate need that I have to...
Yeah, I don't know.
Change discuss to disgust.
I think it's in your brain now, man. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Like I think they call it the yips in golf.
Okay.
Like golfing's a very precise motion, and then if your hands just twist a couple degrees at just the wrong second, you can completely fuck up a swing. And it's a thing that people don't like to discuss. If they have them, they won't say the word out loud. It's it's very superstitious, and I don't know. I forget where the hell I heard about that, but it cracked me up because it was so it's just they're just in their head and they have a word for it and they refuse to talk about it because that would be bad luck. It's bad mojo.
Yeah.
You have the yips. That's my point.
Well, I used to be quite an avid bowler, and that's a real thing in bowling.
It is. I know. The only solution I've ever discovered for that in bowling myself, have another drink.
Yeah, we just cursed.
Yeah, you can do that, but while you do it, down go ahead and scull a 12 ounce or something like that.
Before we slip into the chaos of our weekly DC rabbit hole, I would like to thank our patrons. Your support is very appreciated. It definitely helps keep the lights on and the mics hot. And if you'd like to help support our show, $1 a month gets you every free episode you would normally get, but ad-free. And if you pledge $5 a month, you get bonus material like Jason's pull list, Chasing Squirrels, Marvel reviews. I just started a new show called How Now, where I will be talking about whatever the hell I want, which is, nice. I know for sure I'll be reviewing Batman The Adventures Continue by Alan Burnett, Paul Dini, and Ty Templeton. I have already uploaded the first episode covering Digital First Chapter 1. So patreon.com/DC on Screen if you're interested in checking that out. All right. We didn't have much of a show, but thanks to the listeners.
We're back, baby.
We have quite a show.
Yep.
So let's get into it. First up, WBT. That's our little section. I just like calling it that.
Sure.
We have a new Warner Media CEO. An entertainment and technology executive named Jason Kilar, I think is how you pronounce that.
How you spell it?
Kilar.
Sure.
He has been named CEO of Warner Media, and that will be effective May 1st. He's going to be reporting directly to John Stankey, or if you like, John Stanky.
Sure.
AT&T's president and chief
Killer and Stanky.
Officer. Mm-hmm.
The combo.
Oh, yeah. Damn it! I have right here. Make a joke. about that. I was going to say,
Aw.
got a pic of him here. Slick looking guy. Looks a little bit like a serial killer, or should I say serial Kylar. Damn it. Bastard.
Can read your notes from miles away.
Kylar 48 was previously a founding CEO of Hulu and SVP at Amazon. So yeah, they're real excited about that guy. Jason is a dynamic executive with the right skill set to lead Warner Media into the future. His experience in media and entertainment, direct-to-consumer video streaming, that's the big one, and advertising is the perfect fit for Warner Media, and I am excited to have him lead the next chapter of Warner Media's storied success. Adding Jason to the talented Warner Media family as we launch HBO Max in May gives us the right management team to strategically position our leading portfolio of brands, world-class talent, and rich library of intellectual property for future growth, said Stan Key.
That was really the only takeaway I had from that news was, they wanted a ringer for HBO Max. Cool. Gotcha. It's like they looked around the room and everyone had some good ideas and some confidence, but they kind of... Can you imagine just looking around the room and going, okay, we're betting everything on some people guessing?
Yeah.
We need somebody who's done this.
Which, they've been recruiting from all over. So,
hey, could be good. Certainly the path we were on for the last few years in the Warner Brothers leadership has been difficult. So,
yeah. I remember a couple months ago, we were talking about, I think her name is Sarnoff, who did BritBox and has a pretty storied history in streaming. Yeah, they're plowing into this. So that was the big news, is that he's
actually, the question might have been imagine all the people around the table and someone just asked this, okay, what happened in Disney Plus? Does anyone understand? And then there's just crickets. And then they decide they need some new blood. Something like that, maybe.
Maybe so.
What I'm referring to is the giant drop off after the initial numbers that Disney Plus has seen.
Well, Disney Plus was always going to have a giant drop off because everyone in the world has already subscribed.
I mean, there was that, but the active members went down as well.
The active members went down, but they're still soaring pretty high.
They're still pretty good. I mean,
they're
not in trouble,
still beating
but it was definitely
everybody else.
They're not in trouble. But it was a sharp decline. Disney itself is worried in general at the moment. It's kind of funny to watch.
I think they'll be fine.
I mean, I have no real hatred towards it. I just enjoy watching. Watching CEOs wriggle out of a bind somehow.
Fair enough, I guess.
Like the guy that was about to retire, I forget who it was, Iger maybe. Retired, semi-retired in December and was supposed to be gone by now, and he kind of had to step back in and be like, well, things are getting weird. Let me hop back in there for a second.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't followed it that closely.
I just saw an article today. It was amusing.
I know they just replaced a Bob with a Bob. That's all I know.
Yeah, tis the way.
But yeah, so the big news was this guy from Amazon was coming in. He's CEO of Hulu, Amazon, board for DreamWorks. Yeah. And
good pedigree.
Yeah, good pedigree. Now the news seems to be he liked a couple of release the Snyder Cut tweets.
Of course. Because where the fuck would we be?
Yeah.
If there wasn't a weekly Snyder Cast watch.
Someone congratulated him on getting the job and then said, now release the Snyder Cut. He liked it, and then the second thing he liked was a screenshot of that like. And with commentary saying that he knows what he's doing. And but he has been going through and liking congratulatory tweets. So again, no way to know if that actually means anything. Sorry, y'all.
No, it won't until it does. Like always.
Until it does.
But hey, New Blood and HBO Max being it's still our best shot.
It is. Over to Birds of Prey, and unless something really crazy happens, this will probably be the last week we have Birds of Prey anywhere near the top of the news cycle. From here on out, it'll probably just be ignored or moved to the bottom of movie news.
Oh yeah, no, it'll be like the next time we talk about it in any real capacity is pretty much if they declare whether there will or will not be a sequel,
right,
to that specific part of the movies.
So, here we go.
Okay, all right.
Savor it. Like an egg sandwich with old cheese.
Go on.
All right. So, the Birds of Prey video on demand price has dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly. It's $5.99 to rent.
Yeah.
$5.99 to rent.
Right.
Just like several other high-profile motion pictures, Onward, Rise of Skywalker, Jumanji 2. I'm seeing a lot of this narrative. That's what I'm getting at. I'm seeing a lot of narrative saying, like, oh, now it's bargain basement. It is not, as many suggest, the VOD equivalent of the $5 bin at Walmart. It is still $19.99 to buy.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trying to get rid of their digital copy if that was a thing that they could do. Like,
when I bought, with the last of my discretionary income, bought the digital version of that movie on, I think, the 24th. Mm-hmm. Guess how much it was to rent?
$5.99?
You nailed it. Guess how much it was to buy?
$24.99.
I think I got it for 19.
Okay. Well, still.
I'm actually going to check that because I'm kind of curious. Wouldn't surprise me if it went down to $5, but still.
Nah, it's
Carry on. I'll
$5.99.
check it in the background.
I checked it on Vudu about 2 hours ago.
I'm just
All
straight
right.
up checking my bank account. This is sad. I didn't want to do this. I don't like looking at my bank account right now.
I'm sorry.
You know, it's for science, though, and I can do that.
For science. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all of our Birds of Prey news. I hope you enjoyed it.
We'll see you in a year.
That's all, man. Stop believing people when they say that this is some big thing. It's not. It's normal. This is right there next to...
This is sad, though. Like, Regions isn't letting me check into my account. I think they're trying to spare me the pain.
Well, how about some different kind of pain?
Sure.
I don't know what to think about any of this, and I'm sure some people are going to be pissed off at what I have to say about it. But so the Ezra Miller situation. All right, some person posted a video, and they said, "Okay, so I'm exposing Ezra Miller because he just attacked my friend at the bar after she jokingly, all caps, challenged him to a fight. He took it way too seriously and chokeslammed her to the ground. Not okay." And here's what happened in the video. Ezra Miller is at a bar in Iceland.
By the way, ask me afterwards. I have an update on our last update of Birds of Prey.
Okay. So Ezra Miller is at a bar in Iceland that he frequents. The girl comes up in the video. She comes up to him, smiling and laughing. She looks like she's a little drunk. Miller might be drunk too, based on the way he's acting. But she has her arms akimbo, and he asks her, "Oh, you want to fight? Is that what you want to do? You want to fight?" And he chokeslams her. And when I say he chokeslams her, I would say he puts his hand around her throat, pushes her against the back of a car, and then lowers her to the ground. And he does so harder than you would hope, but way more gently than you would imagine he would if he was being serious. Like, when you say choke slam, you think of, like, pro wrestling or something.
Yeah, for the same reason I read the first 10 I had of this was actually Ryan Hulsman. It just asked me what I thought of it, and I thought, what the hell are you talking about, and had to look it up. But so I read a Variety article and thought, well, it's Variety, let's see what they got first. And reading the transcript, thought, well, this does not sound good. And then finding the video, probably on like dailybeast.co.uk or some shit. Like the transcript and the video are this one's hard. This one's weird, man. I don't know what the fuck to make of that.
Like, it totally looks like he cradles her as he lowers her to the ground.
It very much looked like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It looked like something that I've physically done to people before. We're like, and
Yeah.
pretend wrestle, but at the same time, his tone of voice sounded shitty. So I genuinely don't know. I do know two things. One, he shouldn't have done it.
No, I
because
agree.
that was just a terrible decision.
Dumb.
I mean, if it was an angry decision, then fuck that guy. I'm in a weird position myself because I on the one hand I do kind of require some kind of evidence against somebody. I'm very much a fan of the whole innocent until proven thing, but I also want to stand with her as they put it these days. And I have a zero tolerance for DV. So I'm in a weird position. I don't know what the fuck to make of that film, but I do know one thing: shouldn't have done it at all.
All right.
2, the fuck
Agreed.
is he doing at a club in Iceland 2 weeks ago?
I know.
Fucking stay home. God damn it. You got a giant house.
So as he's lowering her to the ground, someone in the background goes, "Whoa, bro, 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 bro," and then the video stops.
Yeah.
All right. People are wanting context. There was a pretty popular picture from, looks like Reddit popping around, where someone named The Sentry says, "This is awkward. Why is he grabbing her by the throat and taking her to the ground? Why is she play fighting with an actor while in Iceland? Why is he wearing sandals in the snow?" Someone named
Why
Groovy
aren't they
Lips.
6 feet apart?
Yeah. Groovy Lips, I guess, says, "1, because he's a fucking psycho and spit on me and 2 other staff members after the fact multiple times. 2, he was showing her his scars from all the fights he'd been in, and she said, 'I could beat you up.' 3, because he's obviously a moron. After my friend and I threw him off her, he was standing barefoot outside for at least 10 minutes while the bouncers waited for the cops to pick him up." All right, so that sounds damning.
I mean, it paints a bad picture.
It does, except the Wrap reports that the cops were never called. No charges have been filed against him. The girl didn't charge any. There's nothing has happened. He wasn't picked
The only thing I
up.
thought I saw that was anything substantial was I thought I saw Variety. I really should have reread that article, but I forgot about it over the course of the week. I thought I saw in the Variety article that he had actually been taken off the premises.
Yeah, that they have said. Well, the only instance we have of that are just people saying that they know people from the bar saying that he was escorted out. But like, I'm confused because certain people are like, "Oh yeah, the boys pulled him off of her." This is the original poster. The boys pulled him off of her and were restraining him, and Ezra proceeded to spit at my brother and the bartender. What a guy. Okay, so that sounds like hearsay. And also, the people at the bar could have just taken it way too seriously what was going on. He could have been joking. Again, don't think he should have done it. Really don't think he should have done it. But
Yeah, I mean, it was stupid either way. But
the police in Iceland say that no charges were pressed against him. No one even called them. There is no criminal investigation underway. That totally contradicts what this random ass Reddit person says.
yeah, conceivably. It's the same thing I told Ryan is still true. I would give anything for about 10 seconds on either end of that video. Mm-hmm. Just for a little context one way or the other.
And, what's funny is I tried to go to the original video, and this girl has her account on private now, and I can only find copies of the video from, like, TMZ and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it made its rounds through a couple of media outlets, so it's out there if you want to find it. And honestly, hey, open call for suggestions on how to take this. I got nothing. I just genuinely don't know.
I think he did something stupid. I think from what I can see, it looks like he was joking around and did something stupid he shouldn't have done. And I think, the bar people probably overreacted, and it probably pissed him off, and he's probably spit at them.
It's possible.
But I think it's weird that, and I saw some other people were like, "Oh yeah, he hangs out up there," and we showed him a funny video that we made, and he was like, "Well, I don't want to." Or no, we were telling him a video idea that we wanted to do, and we asked him if he'd be in it. He's like, "No, I'm just gonna take your idea and do it by my own because I have more followers." And I was just like, "That's bullshit," because he doesn't have any social media. Where would he even put it out? Like he doesn't have followers. He has no social media. I saw a lot of people kind of jumping on the bandwagon and trying to make him look like a dick, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Like, what?
Yeah, it's a confusing little bit, man.
So, he might be a jerk. He might be a dick, or
all of the above. I don't know.
I'm even confused because I saw someone kind of reprimanding everyone in the midst of all this, going, "Stop calling him a he. He said he prefers they, them." Okay, well, I don't know. Now I'm really confused. I don't think that's the issue here.
I don't know. I just don't remember if I've heard that, but okay.
Yeah, I saw a few people saying that. I'm like, okay, well, that's a different conversation altogether.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard him say that or them say that.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, the whole thing gets more confusing the more I think about it.
Yeah, it is really a strange situation.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping more develops out of that somehow. Something. Just anything, literally.
But
anything.
yeah, I just want to know what happened. But, beside I mean, like we said, we think that Ezra screwed up here, and whether it be because he jokingly did that or because of the lack of social distancing, I think we can all agree that we need to strive to be better than Ezra.
Oh, can I cancel you? I'm not a fan of the cancel culture, but is it possible? Can we just shut this shit down right now? Maybe more on board than I previously thought.
Come, I had to do it.
Did you? Did you have to?
There was a voice in my head that said I had to.
Yeah, see, I understand that though. That's good. I get that.
It implored me.
You're compelled beyond reason. We'll call it that.
You know what? Like I have like, you know how like in like some Batman comics you have like, or even Dark Knight Returns, you've got like Batman's voice talking to Bruce being like, you can't escape me, you piece of shit. Mm-hmm. I've got like a pun Batman floating over my shoulder.
Yeah. I get it. I've been there.
All right. Well, James Gunn, if we're going over to the Suicide Squad, James Gunn says right now there's no reason for the Suicide Squad release date to move. We are on or ahead of schedule. We were extremely fortunate to wrap shooting and set up editing from our homes. So
that is nice.
That's nice. Yeah. He does say that the promotional materials like pictures and trailers and stuff is probably being slowed to some degree because of it though. Yeah, and as far as his timeline is concerned, there's no reason to think the release date may change, but we kind of honestly have to see what the theater situation looks like in a couple months. Yeah. I mean, by most accounts, AMC is about to declare bankruptcy. And Regal is pretty much in the same place financially. Or they were in the same place as AMC was before. I haven't looked at Regal's financials, but it seems odd to me that AMC was going down so hard when Regal was not getting any press about how far they were going down. Well, AMC's a bigger brand, I think, but Regal looked about the same financially as AMC did before the outbreak. Yeah, I can look it up. It's one of those things I wish I had more time to do. What was your find on the Birds of Prey situation? I did find bad news. I have as little money as I thought I did. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah. Good news was I was right. It was $21.59 including tax for my purchase on the day it was released on Amazon. All right. Well, there you go, ladies and gents. Let me just look it up to be sure now. Hold on. Harley. You're checking again? Yeah, I'm curious. You had an exact number. Wait. No, well, not that part. Birds of Prey. Oh, never mind. Well, only let me guess. Shit, it's still $29.99 for the 4K version. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. So from me being exclusively someone who buys my movies on Amazon, it hadn't changed a drop. Not one small penny. All right. So someone asked James Gunn to describe Harley's portrayal in the Suicide Squad, and he answered exploding Paul Dini-esque. Oh, that's beautiful. That's just a great series of words. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gunn. I think there's a character you could have picked that I would... Yeah, I think if you apply that to any character that's ever been treated in the animated versions and told me that was the character description, I think I'd be on board all day, every day. Absolutely. Paul Dini, man, is a freaking treasure. And often I remember the story about him talking about, well, I know I'm in a really good script when like I can't finish writing it because I'm crying. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, he's like leaving his study in his home, and his wife's, "Are you okay?" It's fine. It was a really good scene. That's just glorious. Yep. James Gunn actually already knows what the rating is, but he can't say yet. He knows what it's going to be rated. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Over to Justice League. Which is weird because I don't think he can know that. Oh, he can know. He can have a really good guess, but at some point he has to send that off for review, and the board sends it back. I think he's had enough experience with that.
Look, I would trust him.
board.
Trust me, I would trust him. I just don't know. I would give him 99% certainty, not 100.
So Ray Fisher has a couple of interesting things to say. On the future of Cyborg, he says, I know there are plans in the works. How privy am I to those plans? I cannot say. But at least we know that there is something.
That could literally mean nothing.
No, if he cannot say, that means there's something.
I know. I mean, yes, I get
know,
that
he
interpretation.
knows
But there's
enough.
also the interpretation that he doesn't know because he does not know.
That's true. You can't say that.
Like, the words
Well,
he said can be interpreted two different ways.
He does say,
I actually
I know-
believe the first interpretation. I'm just saying they're possible.
On the Snyder Cut, he says, timing-wise, I don't think things have really worked out. There was one point in time where I was supposed to watch it, but some stuff came up, and unfortunately, it was not an option for me. Who knows? I might see it soon. So that just, he's such a Snyder advocate. I feel bad that he hasn't gotten to see it like Momoa has.
Yeah, I feel like there was just an empty seat beside Momoa that day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, oh well.
I wonder if they just, grabbed a random guy and made him put on the mocap suit and stuck him in the seat and said, we're just going to call you Ray tonight.
My name is Jarrett. You're Ray today. Here's $2,000. Shut the fuck up, Ray. Okay.
All right, we're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about television and we're going to answer your questions.
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries. Our professional parts people will test your old battery for free and recommend the right battery for your vehicle. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All right, we're back. Let's get to Titans.
Hit it.
The Titans cinematographer has confirmed that Barbara Gordon is going to be in season 3. I'm excited about that. Mm-hmm. Based on certain casting calls and stuff, we're pretty sure it's going to be like the Oracle version of the character. It won't be Batgirl. And
Makes sense
Ian
to me
Glenn.
in that universe.
Ian Glenn is back in season 3 as Bruce Wayne.
Oh, good.
I'm excited about
He
that.
was delightful.
He was delightful. I liked him a lot.
They did a really good job of making him an antagonist.
Mm-hmm. And the best protagonist.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, he was a lot better in season 2 than he was in season 1.
That's true.
I'll give you right now that for free.
Just that daunting silhouette.
Yeah. I call season 1's version Nightmare Batman in my head. Because it's like, it actually did remind me of how nightmares work. Like, you see just enough of it to know that you're afraid of it, but then you can't find it.
Yeah. Supergirl.
Supergirl.
The return date has been delayed again.
Of course.
It was supposed to come back Sunday, April 26th with the new episode of Batwoman, but it has been pushed back to May 3rd.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's genuinely, it's hard to guess what's going on with most of those shows right now. Mm-hmm. Because I know a lot of the principal photography for the whole season was just already there, and that's why we got as many episodes as we did. But, man, nobody's shooting in Vancouver right this second.
Yep. And
I feel like we're going to get a lot of the finales over the summer. What do you think?
Oh, I assume we will, yeah. I assume so. Over to Superman and Lois. They've cast Lana Lang. Entourage's Emmanuelle Chriqui, I guess.
How do you spell it? Let's do that again.
Emmanuelle. Last name Chriqui. Here's the worst part. I actually looked up a video of her talking about Entourage, and she said her name, and I still can't remember it long enough to say it right.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a flaw we have.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also nerves.
Yeah, just on the spot. Forgot about it.
Yeah.
Look, I know it's a thing with me. I mean, I in my previous life that I hope to return to, dealt with customers all day and had to be told their names like 20 times. Mm-hmm. But if I saw one name tag, we were good.
Right. So I don't know how to feel about this girl. I don't know her from anything. I haven't watched anything with her in it that I remember. She's Lana Lang. And Erik Valdez has been cast as Kyle Cushing, the husband of Lana Lang.
Look her up while you're talking. Go ahead.
He
I'm
is.
just curious. I doubt I'll remember either.
They are saying he is Smallville's fire chief and local hero who's seen his fair share of tragedy. Small town raised with small town beliefs, Kyle doesn't care much for the big city and often butts heads with people that come from it. So
Okay, I do recognize her face. I don't remember anything about her.
yeah,
I'm guessing Chriqui.
okay.
Just
And
a guess.
now this is out of left field for me, but the nip
Oh
tuck
no,
and
there's a pronunciation guide on Wikipedia. Yeah, Chriqui.
okay. Nip Tuck and life sentence star Dylan Walsh has been cast as General Sam Lane, and he looks completely different than the previous General Lane that was in Supergirl, Glenn Morshower.
Yeah, but there's room for that now.
Crisis, yeah, I know, but oof,
Can be done.
Y'all.
I watched a couple seasons of Nip Tuck, mostly because it was a girl I was dating at the time's show, and we would just DVD and chill and watch that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he was all right. I don't remember anything. I don't remember not liking the guy. He was a pretty good actor.
I mean, it seems like the description for the character is pretty much the same. A no-nonsense army general who's determined to keep America and the world safe from all threats from this world or beyond. Lane's a workaholic who demands nothing but excellence from all of those in his life. Sounds just like the other guy, as far as the character's concerned. No,
And this is going to be in Superman and Lois, right? Not Supergirl?
Right.
Okay.
And by the way, we have no idea if Jenna Dewan is coming back or if even Lucy the character is coming back. If they're gonna recast Daddy, might as well recast Lucy too.
I mean, you can.
I wasn't a big fan of Jenna Dewan though.
Well, one confusing bit for me, and it's a bit of a sidebar, is they're using Leviathan right now in Supergirl, and there is a very meaningful thing that happens with General Lane in Leviathan that I guess they're probably not going to use if it's not in the same show.
Yeah,
I mean, they could.
maybe.
They could.
Who knows?
They could expand it. Leviathan could last a little while. I mean, honestly, right now in the comics, which are on pause, but in the most recent Action Comics, Leviathan was still going strong. So there's plenty of play in that. Maybe they're just going to keep it going.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really don't.
We ain't no shit.
Man, I wish they would just recast and have Maxwell Lord come back to Supergirl, and they could even play with he doesn't look like our Maxwell Lord, but I remember both of them. Yeah, no, Crisis. Woo!
I'd take that guy back too. He was kind of fun by the end of it.
Oh, I loved the guy that played Maxwell Lord, but he just didn't want to move to Vancouver. So, from what I understand.
Yeah, him and Cat Grant had that in common apparently.
All right, we got listener questions.
Okay. All right. Take a deep breath.
Yeah,
I only saw 2 of the questions. I just saw a list of them and went, well, I don't have time for that right this second. I was trying to feed the daughter and couldn't go down a little Twitter hole at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. All right, Nathan Wobbly Boots 85. Seeing as the Terrifics are DC's answer / ripoff of the Fantastic Four, who would you have as the Terrifics version of a Doctor Doom?
Now, this is one of the questions I did see. I'm going to tell you my answer.
Okay.
Argyle.
Argyle? That is not who I said.
Well, in all fairness, first of all, he's styled to look like Doctor Doom anyway. If we're going to do a ripoff, let's do it right. Second, one of the reasons I don't like Doctor Doom particularly as a character is because he's basically a super scientist / super magician. He shouldn't be beatable. He's one of those people that feels so overpowered that he's hard to get into. I mean, he's fun in a way, but if we're gonna have that kind of energy anyway, let's just get a 5th dimensional character into this shit, and why not?
Yeah, I can see that. Argyle, by the way, is a sentient sock and the arch nemesis of Ambush Bug, in case anyone was wondering. As many times as we mention him, I'm
actually,
sure
now that I say that out loud, double check me. I know they're 4th dimensional wall breaking characters, but are they 5th dimensional as well?
I'm not sure, man.
I don't know either.
I think they're from the 5th dimension.
I think so, but only because all the other characters that can do that kind of stuff are. So I don't know exactly. I do know that's my answer.
Right.
It's already got the mask.
My answer, because I don't know a lot about the Terrifics. I've never actually even read it.
I really don't. There's a new version right now.
Looks good.
That was, I think the issue numbers were in the 20s or 30s since Rebirth. I don't know. It's one of those titles that looked fun a few times, and I've almost picked it up, and I never quite have. Mm-hmm. But it's been getting good reviews since it's been around in the last couple of years.
Yeah. My pick is Mr. Terrific, Terry Sloan, the original Mr. Terrific.
Nice.
Who did recently show up in the New 52 as a villain. I did not know that. I actually looked him up to see what his status was as far as, alive, dead, or whatever. And then I see, here it's got, it's like, oh, he came back as a villain in the New 52. And he's a villain because he's trying to save his Earth using questionable methods. And to me, that just sounds great. I was like, yeah, I was thinking initially, like, have him maybe from an alternate Earth or show up and just, like, not be down with, like, what the current Mr. Terrific is doing. Mm-hmm. Or kind of maybe make him go insane, make him, take his name back, or maybe even change his name to Mr. Terrible. I don't know, something silly. Someone calls him Mr. Terrible instead of Mr. You went from Mr. Terrific to Mr. Terrible. Plastic Man could say, Mr. Terrific, the original, more like Mr. Terrible. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think you could have a lot of fun with that. Or if you really wanted to be like serious about it, you could like be like, oh, he's from the Golden Age, and he comes to this Earth, and he's like, what? My namesake was taken by a black dude? Can't have that. I'm old and racist. You could do that. I don't know, man. You could do like...
No, it's a thing you can do in comics, though, where if a character sits dormant for just a little while, eventually you can have somebody ask, like, so what's going on with him? Oh, he came back. He's an asshole now.
Yeah.
And just do that. Oh, have you ever run across this, by the way? I meant to ask you earlier. I just ran across it somewhere on a Reddit scroll. But
oh, God. You poor thing.
I know, but it's okay. It was an actual excerpt from... Do you remember in the Amalgam Universe at any point... I never read the Amalgam Universe, but I know you had some familiarity with it.
Yeah.
That Joker and Red Skull teamed up for a second?
I don't remember. Well, do I?
Like, unless somebody completely fabricated these panels, it was real. I read them.
Well, there was the crossover that was Marvel versus DC, and then that storyline, gave way to the Amalgam Universe where they were all like combined. So it's possible, yeah, that he teamed up with Red Skull. I mean, I don't really. It seems familiar, but we're talking about
I'm going to give you the quick takeaway from the two panels. Ready? At some point, Joker realizes that all the Nazi paraphernalia is not, and he does this in like bubbled speech exposition style. Says like, you're telling me that's not a get up? That's not just for outrage? You're actually a Nazi. And he apparently tells everybody around him like, okay, listen, y'all just back off. I may be a homicidal lunatic, but I'm an American homicidal lunatic. This asshole's mine.
That's great.
My point being, assholes can come back in any grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want that. I really wish I had that somewhere. I would just have that. I think I would just have that panel just somewhere on the wall because it really did crack me up.
Yeah, that's great. All right, Nathan. Hopefully that was an answer to your liking. Nathan says to us once again, "You have Static Shock starting a new super team. Who other than the Big Seven?" And then he later says the Big Eight. Do you have fill out his roster?
Now I did ask for clarification on the Big Eight just because that changes. Depending on who's telling you and what story is being told. But if I remember correctly, it was Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Green Lantern, Cyborg, and Martian. Those are off the table.
That's right.
Well, who's your first?
Gear.
Oh, you want a builder still? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, in one, Static Shock is putting together a team. I want a version of Gear there with him. All right. I feel like Gear is, sort of a Ted Kord Batman type,
That's fair. I mean, yeah, you want somebody who, can, like I said, you want to build around the team. You got to have somebody that's a mechanic. Work on the fly in the field, make some shit happen when they have to. Nice to have Cyborg, whose mind is basically one giant engineering department. But if you don't have him, I get it.
Yeah.
All right, second pick, Red Tornado.
Okay.
I know he's a quasi member most of the time. It's not an extremely outrageous pick or anything, but I just think he's a damn fine addition.
Okay. I can see it.
Super powerful. Flight's never bad.
Yeah.
Logical. kind of a slightly depowered Martian. If you were doing like a personality trait tree or something.
Yeah. I got you. Who was your first pick?
Oh, I just meant second between us. Who was the next pick for you?
Oh,
I guess.
Vibe.
Oh, Vibe's nice. Yeah, Vibe's a good call.
I feel like he'd get along with Static. Like,
Yeah.
Well, the Cisco Ramon version of him anyway. Like, I don't like the version from the Flash. Actually, there was a few comics I knew of where I saw Vibe and was like, yeah, he's a fun guy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and arguably his power at least as useful as a Flash, if not more so in some capacities.
And see, I like the idea of Vibe because if you get Static and a Vibe together, you might be able to pull in a lot of alternate universe characters. So you could just kind of run the gamut and play with whatever you want.
Yeah, it's true.
Different versions of a character.
Very true.
Who else you got?
I'm going to go straight for Shazam.
Okay. God, you're going for a lot of big guns.
I know. Why don't you ask for the Justice League?
He didn't say Justice League.
Oh, just a team around Static Shock. Yeah, sure.
He says, he says Static is starting a new super team. Who
You're right.
other
You're
than
right.
the big
You're
eight
right.
do you want to fill out the
It's
roster?
just when you take away the big eight, I feel like replacing them.
I don't want to replace them necessarily, but I want to play with some characters who you don't see normally in a team very much, or you don't really see very much at all. You know what I mean? That's my preference. You do you.
I get it. Well, it'll be a mixture of those between us. But yeah, useful. Good to have somebody with like that black and white set of morals hanging around just to gut check everybody when necessary.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Which is, and I apparently also want to find that powerhouse. That's why I picked Supergirl.
Oh yeah, I could deal with that.
That and it aggravates me that you never
two
see.
would get along just swimmingly, wouldn't they?
Yeah, you almost never see Supergirl in a team, like unless she's with the Legionnaires or
Yes,
something.
Legionnaires is about all I can think of. Yeah.
You never see her on the Justice League very much, or you don't really. Like, you would think she would be in the Titans, but she's never in the Titans.
Yeah, but the Titans already have like a Connor or a Donna here and there. They rarely need a Supergirl as well.
And then you have a Young Justice, but she's a little too old for that. She just doesn't fit anywhere, and I want her to fit in a team. Like, I don't know.
I get that.
Got anybody else?
All right, just for funsies. I have.
I thought that's what all this was for.
Well, yeah, sure. But for extra funsies, just to make it weird, I have sitting in front of me the DC Comics Encyclopedia.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to open to a random page. Roughly, I'm going to go with 2/3 of the way through the book. Let's see what we got here. Fucking nobody. Just fucking nobody. All right, you got Alfred. So open to the P's. So it's Alfred, so the People's Heroes, the little group of forgotten squatters. Johnny Peril, Neptune Perkins, Perrin, I've never heard of him. Phantasm, a little bit here and there. Phantasmo, yes, no, not really. And Persuader.
Uh-huh.
Don't really know what to do with any of these people. And it seems like only like 3 of them are actually good guys.
Right.
Let's go to the next page. We're just going to go till it gets fun. Well, Phantom Stranger, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I could deal with Phantom Stranger.
Just have a guy who, like, you forget he's there for, like, a year and a half's worth of issues, and then he just pops in at the right moment and saves everything and just runs away with no fucking explanation. Yeah. Is he still on the team? I guess so. Fuck. We were really about to lose that one.
I had one more character, and I think we need a speedster, so I was going to say Jesse Quick.
That's not a bad one. Not a bad one at all.
I don't know if it would be Jesse Chambers, like proper, or if you would, grab somebody from an alternate universe and just have her just be like more of a Jesse Wells type to go along with what people are more familiar with. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, just let her be.
I'm good with either.
Just let her be. I'm going to go to like the first third of the book. You want to just see what happens?
Yeah, sure.
All right. a whole page devoted to Fatal 5, then Fatality, then Fastbach, Feora, Fastball, Vesper, Fairchild, and Fate. I just genuinely, I can't do anything with those. Kidding me. Firestorm. Oh, Firestorm. That's good.
He was on my list for quite a while.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
That's solid. I was flipping through the P's a second ago and Plastic Man came up. Couldn't hurt, but he's already on several versions.
Mm-hmm. The thing about Firestorm, the reason I took him off the list is he's so freaking powerful.
He is. It's just transmutation, if you just use that possibility to its fullest extent, can really take the game over real fast.
But Firestorm is really one of those characters I want to see in like a book of his own. Whether you use the Ronnie Raymond version or the Jason Rush version, I prefer Ronnie Raymond in a lot of ways because Ronnie Raymond's version reminds me of Spider-Man. He's got the alliterated name. Most of the run that I read of Ronnie Raymond's, he was a kid in college, and his professor was Professor Stein. Much like Spider-Man has in the old 70s stuff, you see like Uncle Ben's head like floating over him, going, "With great power comes great responsibility."
Right, just at the right moment.
Ronnie literally has an old man in his head telling him what to do,
and it's literally like the thought bubble is literally depicted with an old man's face a lot of the time.
It totally is. In a lot of ways, like I feel like to offset his vast powers, I need Ronnie Raymond to be like a broke college student with girl problems.
That's fair. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah, so I kind of rather see him in his own thing. And by the way, the Jason Rush version, there was I don't remember who wrote it, sadly, but the Jason Rush series that they did of Firestorm back in the early aughts that I want to say Damian Scott drew was fantastic. And he was, I want to say he was Black and Hispanic maybe, but and he had like a whole completely different backstory, but he dealt with a lot of shit too, like girl problems, his dad being an abusive piece of shit. It was really solid. It
Naturally
was super good. I loved that run.
Well, similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we had to replace it, like you and I have the same opinion, I think, on Green Lanterns. Kyle Rayner.
Yeah.
Generally, Kyle Rayner's I think our favorite.
Yeah, Kyle Rayner is my favorite, even though when I think of Green Lantern, I first think of Hal.
I mean, which is totally fair. It's an iconic interpretation. I think Kyle, visually has a lot to do, and then story-wise is much more relatable. But if we're just picking people that don't have enough play yet, man, the new version, the Jessica Cruz version.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Oh, she's fantastic. She's just really kicking some serious ass in Justice League Odyssey at the moment. Mm-hmm. Survived Darkseid's beams.
For just a second, I thought you said beans.
He notoriously makes a really bad red beans and rice.
Yeah.
Visited New Orleans one time, didn't ask for the recipe, thought he could nail it. Just terrible.
Fancies himself an artisan coffee maker, just can't get it right.
Right.
Doesn't know how to work the beans.
Yeah. You take a sip and you can feel like a chip of a bean hit your front left tooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just flipping through here. This
He never puts cream in the coffee. That's why they call him Darkseid. Anyway.
Yes, how do you want yours? And if you start to say something else, it just beams your ass.
Yeah. The Omega beans.
Dark coffee is.
Anyway. Nathan has one more question for us.
Shoot.
What character or storyline do you want to see adapted into Titans Season 3?
Ooh. God. All right, that's a lot. All right. What do you got?
Well, because we have Barbara Gordon coming in, I want to see at least flashbacks to the Killing Joke, but that sort of ties in with what I want to see. I want to see, and they did this a little bit last year, but I want to see more flashbacks to the first Titans team, the first Teen Titans team. Mm-hmm. I want to see a little bit of Teen Titans Year 1, kind of that vibe, but I also want flash forwards to Titans Tomorrow. And if that means that Superboy's got to go forward into the future, this is the Jeff Johns Titans Tomorrow run you can find on DC Universe, I'm sure. But I would love to see that. I want to see where they wind up later. I want to see grown up Raven and shit, grown up Beast Boy, and then sort of have to like decide whether or not they're going to let the future dictate what they do in the present, and whether or not they're willing to let a certain future take place. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that's fair. I can get behind that. Because of the tone of the show, if you had asked me which version of Barbara they were going to use, wheelchair Barbara is what I would have guessed, just because it's the darkest possible version, I guess. It's the one where the most tragedy has already happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's very much something that Titans does, and I'm not knocking that. I appreciate it. But I don't think we're going to get a Joker version. I just don't, because I mean,
we've already seen him face down on the top of a car. I don't think we could. They could probably get away with like a blurry, Birds of Prey the series recap.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think we're gonna get like another actor and another interpretation right now. Not just this second. There's a lot of Joker going around, and I'm very much against the whole like if he's being used here, you can't use it here thing. We've been outspoken about that being bullshit since Diane Nelson was still employed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a lot of versions out there right now, and they may try to do something different. And if they do, I've always liked the idea of Joker's daughter, just never had traction with it.
Yeah, but she's never Joker's daughter. She's always just some wackadoo.
I know, like I'm aware, but
she might be,
some random wackadoo might make just as much sense as anything else in this universe.
Duella Dent, etc. Which I guess they just did her on Batwoman too. Like they just did her on Batwoman.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt about it. Meh.
I mean, it happened. Just because it's a kind of protege, it would make sense for me, but I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly where I'd go with the season. Man, that's a really tough question, like where that season should go, because it's going to have to do with the big bad, and they've just already eliminated some really big bads.
Yeah.
And they've split the team up. They're back together now. Like it feels like they need something truly polarizing. And I'll tell you the opposite of that question. What I'm going to be really disappointed by is if they go for like a blood cult thing, because I've just never not been bored by a blood cult.
Yeah, I don't want anything. I don't want Brother Blood. I don't want any of that shit.
The closest we ever got was on Arrow, and that's as close as I ever want to be.
Yeah, I'm just always bored by that shit. I
think I'm just bored by like cult mind control shit now. Been desensitized to it.
I think I was always bored by it.
Maybe. I don't know. It could be generational. Like we grew up in our lifetimes, we've had the Jonestown Massacre and Waco. Like how fucking far do we want to take this? At some point you're just like, no, I've heard this story. I literally watched it on the news.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just not my deal. I just don't care for it. The closest I got to liking something like that was Chuck Palahniuk's Survivor, which is a fantastic novel. But didn't really deal specifically with that. It was just, the story of a surviving cult member who had gone out into the world to, further their cause or whatever. And then while he was out there, the cult got taken down.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's a great book.
I'll tell you what, the only thing I can think of that would be really fun and Titans would be able to do a really good job with, maybe, is just some version of the Sandman universe.
I mean, if you tied in Raven and stuff, yeah, you could do that for sure.
Like, she's great on that show.
Yeah.
And it would only take her as a channel to get everything going.
Yeah.
And then after that, they're just in the world and you got to deal with them.
But they won't do that because they're developing Sandman for Netflix.
Yeah, they've been developing that for 5 years. We'll see.
We'll see. Let's go on to the next question, I guess, if you want. You good? Matthew Salvatore asks, what Batman comics do you think had the greatest influence on the Batman character? The last 30 years, Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, yeah. As a singular product, that one. Overall, maybe the O'Neil Adams run.
Yeah, O'Neil Adams, Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One.
That stuff in the mid-'80s it changed everything.
Yeah, it was completely seminal. It's just you couldn't...
Yeah, there was
the
no
character
turning back after that. Like
character wouldn't have lasted.
Killing Joke shortly after, like there was no turning back.
Yeah, I agree. He also asks, what character had the most impactful death in the DC universe, emotionally or narratively? Jor-El and Laura?
Yeah. Impactfully, yeah.
Thomas and Martha Wayne?
Impactfully, maybe.
Maybe after those cats, Jason Todd?
No, impactfully for storytelling, maybe like Maxwell Lord.
That's an interesting take, but
But you can pick any of the crises. You can pick Ted Kord, Maxwell Lord, or Supergirl out of any of the crises, and all of them were deeply impactful for a while.
Yeah. But I don't think any so impactful as Jor-El and Laura or Thomas and Martha Wayne.
I mean, there just technically can't be anyone more than Jor-El and Laura.
Yeah, I mean...
Technically. It's just, that's just historically accurate.
It created the paradigm.
Yeah.
In the superhero genre.
I mean, I know there was Dr. Occult and shit before. I get it. I know. Mm-hmm. But nothing like Superman.
Superman was the first superhero.
Yeah.
Supergirl in Crisis was a big one. Jason Todd after that, big one.
Todd was, that was a big one too.
Because they both stayed dead for so long. Long.
God, who else? Oh, one of the hardest for me to read. I'll just give you the most recent one. The hardest to read was maybe, it's been several months, but in the current books, Alfred's gone. Mm-hmm. Bane just straight snapped him.
Right.
That was not easy. And it was not, and Tom King did a great job of dealing with, Bruce just did not want to deal with that shit. Mm-hmm. It took him months to read the last thing Alfred wrote him. It was rough.
Yeah.
It was a good run.
So, Matthew's next question is very spoilery. So I have rephrased it so that the people who know what we're talking about will know what we're talking about. And the people who haven't experienced it yet will not know what we're talking about.
I like it.
But I believe this is in response to news that came out this week that Alan Burnett, who did not have anything to do with Justice League Unlimited, said that he does not consider the twists that happened in Epilogue. Do you remember that episode? Mm-hmm. He does not consider that to be canon. He rejects it.
Okay.
Justice League Unlimited Epilogue was written by Bruce Timm and Dwayne McDuffie. So Matthew wants to know if we consider that episode canon, basically. Or the twist that's in that episode canon.
I mean, I do consider it canon.
Yeah.
And it was one of the more impactful moments of the entire animated series. Mm-hmm. All together, top 10-ish, easy. Mm-hmm. It's hard not to consider it canon. It incorporated a lot and still left room for the spoiler you're talking about not being necessarily true.
Right. It worries me because the new comic series, Batman The Adventures Continue, is being written by Alan Burnett and Paul Dini, the two guys who weren't working on Justice League Unlimited at the time.
Yeah.
And now Alan Burnett comes out and says that, and I'm like, oh man, don't take that away from me. But they won't. It'll be an alternate universe. I'll just ignore it and just be like, nope, that happened in a separate little thing that Alan Burnett and Paul Dini wanted to do, just like Batman and Harley Quinn happens in Bruce Timm's little weirdo fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, like if I had to pick something to not be canon, Batman and Harley Quinn is definitely going first.
Yeah. So I think the answer to your question is yes, Epilogue is canon.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a black and white choice or a binary choice of just it does or doesn't guide the future, maybe it'd be a different discussion. But because it leaves it slightly open to interpretation, then yeah, it's canon. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And let's put it another way. I believe everything that happens regarding the conversation that we're all talking about that we're not talking about is true enough to the people having that conversation that it is real on some level.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Meanwhile, since you don't have much to do, if you don't have much to do, watch that whole series and catch up and tell us about it.
Yeah. Number 4.
Ryan, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, Ryan.
You, in particular. You go watch it. You go watch it now.
No more Golden Girls, Ryan.
No more Golden Girls for you.
I'm sorry, Ryan. Thank you for being a friend. Number 4.
I'm just going to enjoy if that fucks with him. That'll amuse me.
Number 4.
I also mean it as a friend. Go watch it. You'll enjoy it.
Matthew Salvatore has one more question for us. I'm not sure how much this will apply to you, but favorite Andy Griffith episode?
I got nothing.
The
only thing I did see that because I scrolled for a second, but honestly, the only scene that I can remember, if is like the citizens arrest scene. I don't even know what episode that's from. This is all you, man. I don't know.
It is from the episode Citizens Arrest.
Okay.
Yeah, Citizens Arrest. I have a few favorites because I am a huge Andy Griffith Show fan.
You are.
See, I love the episode. Like, and I can't remember a lot of the names either. Like, I love Citizens Arrest. That's usually either Citizens Arrest or 3 Wishes for Opie. Where Barney has retrieved a book where he in a lamp, and he sprinkles incense and calls forth the spirit of Countess Van Telecki from the 13th century or some shit.
Dear God.
Yeah. And it's got this great line where, like, Andy's pissed off because apparently Barney's going around telling people that Andy and Helen are going to be married. And he's like, it's not me, Andy. It's Countess Van Telecki. And he's like, where can I find him? He's like, Andy, you can't talk to Countess Van Telecki. Why not? Because he's from the 13th century.
See, it just, all I remember is little bits like that. Like, I remember a bunch of distilleries being stomped on.
Yeah.
Otis being let out of his cage over and over again, even though the thing was never locked.
Right. Well, it was locked. Otis could just literally at the
he just literally reach through and grab it and walk out.
Yeah, at the proper time. He goes voluntarily.
Once
for his
he's
own
sober,
safety.
He just kind of finds his way out.
Yeah. Well, it's because he doesn't want to deal with his wife when he's drunk. She doesn't like him being drunk, so he doesn't want to deal with his wife.
Oh, he just goes to the jail. Yeah. Sleeps peacefully on his cot.
Yeah.
And the funny part is I can remember the scenery. Like, I could draw you the map of their courthouse, and it would be pretty damn accurate. But I don't remember anything that happened.
Yeah, no,
I must have watched dozens of episodes of this show though, just because it was in the Nick at Night period where I was watching Nick at Night,
right?
Every fucking night.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff about the one bullet in his pocket.
Yep. So I love those 2 episodes, and those 2 always come to mind before anything else. But I love the stranger in town, where he knows everybody's name and everything, and no one knows him. That's fantastic.
Vague recollection of that.
Barney thinks he's a German spy, but keeps saying stuff like, what does he say? He says some stuff in German and some stuff in Spanish, trying to talk to the guy. He thinks I don't know. Maybe he thinks he's a Russian spy, but he's saying German stuff. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it is. For some reason now.
It should have been a German spy given the era.
Yeah. It might have been Russian, but he just thinks he's a spy, and he's just speaking to him in like...
I think we and the Russians were still roughly on the same side, reluctantly even, at the time.
It was still during the Cold War.
Yeah, it was during the Cold War, though. True enough.
Sprechen Sie Espagnoli. That's what he said to him.
Oh, fuck, yeah, that's a good line.
Sprechen Sie Espagnoli? What?
That's a good line.
Yeah. I love even some of the colored episodes are really
that's
great.
That's the kind of line where like you could put that in an episode of Modern Family and it would still do great.
Oh yeah. A show which actually just recently ended and had a fantastic ending, if you ask me.
Good. I mean to go back for it. I've just kind of lost track for a couple seasons.
But yeah, out of the colored episodes, I love the one where Warren has ESP. Mm-hmm. He doesn't actually have ESP. He's just an idiot.
I do remember that.
I think my favorite colored episode is the one where Aunt Bee and Opie both go out of town, and Andy just wants nothing but to hang out at the house and do nothing, be alone. And Goober like comes over and basically becomes his Aunt Bee, and then screws up all of these dinner dates. And Andy thinks he's got to go to dinner 3 separate times. He eats this big spaghetti dinner with Goober. Then Goober thinks, oh, you've got to go and have dinner with Helen, and they're having spaghetti. And he was supposed to remember that Andy was supposed to go Saturday night to go have dinner with Howard and his mother, but he says tonight, and they were having spaghetti. So Andy eats 3 spaghetti dinners. I like that episode. I like the interplay between Andy and Goober a whole lot. Anyway, yeah, I could go on, but I could do an Andy Griffith podcast. I really could.
Almost as though it's crossed your mind before.
It has.
There was when we my family's falling apart in the other room. I have to move on, but the spaghetti bit did remind me of I never watched a lot of King of the Hill. I would run across it every now and then, and it was fine, but I never made time for it. But there was an episode where who's the dumb guy in the
Well, that's an open
white
question,
tank top?
I guess. Bill.
Bill?
Voiced to perfection by Stephen Root.
I believe it. He at some point they think he's like a tastemaker, like an influencer, whatever we were calling it at the time that the show was being made.
Yeah.
And he's eating spaghetti sandwiches. And I think the episode was like they start investing in whatever he's doing at the grocery market because they just think they see a false lead there, and it just turns out he's an idiot. And I vaguely remember when watching that episode thinking like this. I feel like I've seen something like this on Andy Griffith before.
That's funny. The closest I can think of is when Goober grew a beard and everybody thought he was really smart suddenly.
Yeah, it's a real thing. The stats on people that have a full head of hair and it just turns white at some point, it's like you get an extra 15% confidence boost. Like if you were just a character playing a game, they would just give you like an armor class upgrade because he's this old and he still has all his hair. He must have learned some stuff. No, he didn't fucking learn some stuff. He stumbled through this shit like the rest of us. He just got lucky and kept his hair.
Yeah. All right. Brent from Fans Without Borders asks, what comics, if any, have you been reading? Have you liked them?
So many. Oh God, so many. It's tempting to just go to my shelf. I'm going to try to remember it as best I can in order. Metal's about to come back out. Fantastic. Action Comics and Superman as a tandem, been fantastic as well. Bendis is doing a great job. Everything Snyder has touched. And that includes the Justice League run that was just his version of the Justice League run that just wrapped up that led into what's going to become Dark Knight's Metal. Or the second part of it. The Firefly run's actually really good, surprisingly. I wondered.
Like the new Firefly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trade waiting on it, but I have the first part of whatever that was, War something.
Yeah.
It's on my shelf.
Whatever that was that wrapped up. Yeah, it was good. I can't remember the name of it either, but I remember the storyline.
Yeah.
The Rick and Morty series has been very useful for me because it's been, we love that show. And it's been so long between episodes. And then even when we got the show back, we only had it back for a couple weeks, it seemed like, and then it was gone again.
It's coming back in May.
Yeah, I know. It's got like 65 fucking episodes ahead of it, according to their contract. But
yeah,
it's been a long wait, and it's only like a tangential universe. Like, they make a ton of references to the fact that it's basically in universe, but not exactly. Like in the same sense that the show every now and then will just kill every character and be like, oh, that was just over here. God, those were good. What am I missing? Justice League Dark, Justice League Odyssey, also fantastic. And Justice League Odyssey has been kind of like an offshoot of Justice League's new run. But still good. That's where Jessica Cruz is killing at the moment. Justice League Dark has been just phenomenal. Like, Wonder Woman became the most powerful magician ever because that kind of makes sense to me. She's made of magic.
Yeah.
Like, she's just literally made of magic. So she was able to take on shit that would have killed basically anybody else, which makes sense. Fuck, on the Batman side, it's been mostly Batman that I've been actually pulling. But Batman, Flash, and any of the crossovers that happened, like the Button and all that shit. I feel like I'm forgetting so many, but I don't want to actually get up and look at them.
That's okay, man. You've listed a lot more than I'm going to list.
Out of the current stuff that I'm reading, right before this all has happened.
Yeah.
And I'm on pause for a moment. It's been extensive.
Yeah, mine has not been. I read Batman: The Adventures Continue. I did a review for it on Patreon. I'm on board, but still a little so-so. Not crazy about Ty Templeton's artwork right now. And a little curious as to how this is going to work into canon, or if it actually will. and I'll continue to do reviews of it as it comes out, but for Patreon.
Fair enough.
Other than that, I've been rereading some Calvin and Hobbes. And loving it. I have the complete collection of Calvin and Hobbes. That's a go-to for me. Like,
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
When I need inspiration, sometimes I'm just like, I'm gonna go look at some Calvin and Hobbes for a minute.
Yeah.
And then 3 hours later, I go, I need to go to bed.
Yeah, that's fair. I genuinely, God, if you're just looking for something to get you through, like what to do if you're bored right now, grab any trade that Scott Snyder had his hands on.
Yep. That's real. Brent continues, do you have any DCCW episodes that you can just go to when you want to pick me up? For me, World's Finest is one of those.
No, it's good. There are probably several I could name. But, functionally that's not a thing for me because there's the only episodes that I've bought are the Crisis episodes. And I actually do go rewatch those from time to time just for funsies.
Yeah.
But again, functionally, I would rather watch something else for the most part, just because of the fucking ads. Like I can't get around that.
A lot of it is on Netflix right now.
Yeah, most of the previous seasons. But honestly, once it's that far in the past, I don't go back for it really.
I often don't. I think the first thing that came to mind is World's Finest. I've watched that one a few times. It was a lot of fun. The Supergirl Flash crossover.
Yeah.
I have gone back a few times and watched I think it's the Barry Allen episodes where Barry Allen is introduced on Arrow. I've gone back and watched those a few times. I've watched the the first Flash Arrow team up. More than anything, if I go back and watch DCCW, I go back and look at pilots. I go back and look at the very first episode because I like to see how far they've come and what all's changed.
I feel like I just watched the pilot so many times once it comes out because I'll watch a pilot 3 or 4 times.
I won't.
And
not until later, much later.
No, I'll watch it initially and really inundate myself with it, and then I feel like I have a pretty good barometer going forward after that. But if anything, it's not so much whole episodes. It just doesn't hit me like that. Like when somebody says that was a good episode, and I can sit there and remember it, or there's so many of these episodes at this point. Sometimes I just have to look at a quick recap and go, oh yeah, that one. Normally I completely agree that it was a great episode. I just haven't gone back and watched it again. More often than anything else, I'll just kind of go back and YouTube like certain scenes.
Yeah, I do that too.
Were really impactful for me. I really will. I'll pick and choose more than probably the creators would like for me to.
Yeah. But, if we're talking about a pick-me-up, I'm usually, if I really need a pick-me-up, I'm going to go back to something like Andy Griffith. I'm going to go back to MASH. I'm going to go to Batman 66. Stuff I grew up with, something that, like, puts me in a comfort zone, like, Nightmare Before Christmas, High Fidelity, Blues Brothers, something like that.
Yeah.
More so than anything that's come out since I've been an adult.
Definitely stuff that, like, right now Community is on Netflix, and
oh gosh,
I'm one of the many people that are just rewatching that series at the moment just because it just kind of brings me a little bit of joy.
I'm watching Better Off Ted with my wife.
Oh, so good. I've watched that one several times. Hell, like when I was like a few weeks ago when I was first stuck at home, I probably just watched Shaun of the Dead every day in the background.
Yeah,
just because the movie just makes me happy. Just brings me joy. That's all.
The other night I probably should have just put the movie on because I know I spent a solid hour just looking at clips from Army of Darkness.
Oh yeah,
that is one of my favorite movies. It's just
it's solid.
Listen, buddy, right now you're in charge of 2 things: Jack and shit, and Jack left town. Close the door. What were you, raising a barn? Oh yeah, you were.
Yeah. I still, one day, somewhere, one day, I'm going to run across this and be happy. But I often use the phrase slice of fried gold in front of people. And I have yet to have someone understand what I was talking about. But I just thought it was such a good phrase. Slice of fried gold.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I know what you're talking about.
Although I feel like maybe said this before, but I ran across somebody the other day that actually used Tom Sawyering, like a gerunded version of the word. As like pretending a task is interesting, and then when someone takes over, just bailing. And I've been using that phrase for years, and I actually heard somebody else say like, "Oh yeah, Tom Sawyered him," and soured. I actually heard somebody at work say that, like, "Oh, Tom Sawyered him," and I just kind of laughed and was like, "I know exactly what you're talking about, but I've been waiting for probably 20 years for someone else to say that phrase."
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jason. All right, we should move on, man.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
Let's see. Chris Baga from World's Finest True Believer says, so the DC Universe did a tournament to crown best supervillain. The Reverse Flash came out on top, 52% of the vote against Brainiac. Do you guys agree? And if not, who do you consider the top villain? Who is on your Legion of Doom team? Choose 5 villains.
It still astounds me that he came out on top.
It's weird that he came out on top. For me, the Joker is just always going to be the top. Like, he's the guy that, like, he may not have superpowers, but he's the one guy that, like, every supervillain is like, I don't want to be on a team with that guy.
Yeah. Well,
he's too crazy. He's
one of the
too
great
crazy.
criticisms of The Dark Knight is that he says he's not a planner, and yet he seems to be planning. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I love to refute that idea with is that it's not that he can't make a plan, it's that he's planning things that you would never fucking think to plan. Mm-hmm. Like when he talks about, schemers, he's talking about politicians, people who are like playing within the system. When he's talking about making a plan, he's talking about like, what if we bomb this orphanage somewhere that no one's ever fucking heard of? Why? Because that's why. Like, that makes sense to me. That kind of maniac, I get why people like Luthor do not like having him on their team.
Right.
Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Same time, as Crisis pointed out, that was your mistake. You should have included the clown. You always put that guy on your team because you need to know what the fuck he's up to. So, Legion of Doom member number 1 for me is Joker, because I need to know what the fuck he's up to.
Yeah, I don't think you need to put... for me, Lex Luthor is the first. He's the most important.
He is. He's the schemer. He's the planner. But he is the guy that Joker's talking about. But
yeah, and he's the one guy he's the one guy you don't put the clown. He's the guy that says you don't put the clown on the team because the clown is going to screw you up, buddy.
Yeah,
clown's out for his own thing.
Yeah, but that was his great mistake. The moment he didn't include the clown, guess what happened?
Yeah, I mean,
clown came for him.
You have a point there. I say
the only thing I didn't like, I didn't appreciate the fact that it was down to those two, because it was basically down to one guy whose entire job is to destroy Superman and one guy whose entire job is to destroy the Flash. Mm-hmm. And I think there are a lot of villains out there that have a lot more to say, like a lot more to do, like even fucking Parasite.
Well, but Brainiac's whole
just
job
more interesting in some way.
Brainiac's whole thing isn't to kill Superman. Brainiac wants to like collect all the knowledge and shit. Like.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's true. Sorry, I was thinking of Luthor for a second. Like Brainiac's job is he's the collector. He's fine. Like I get that as a. Like, it was really fun in Krypton, for instance. I thought they did a good job with it there. Mm-hmm. But it's... I guess that was my major problem with Reverse Flash winning, was just... He just has the one job.
Yeah.
And he's not even all that good at it. Mm-hmm. He's been killed before by the guy you intended to kill.
Yeah, I like Reverse Flash enough.
Hell, one version of it, it's just Iris that kills him.
I like Reverse Flash enough that I would put him on my Legion of Doom. I do. I would say Luthor, Reverse Flash, Bizarro, just because I think he's funny.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I like having Bizarro around.
I would just enjoy shit like being able to say, like, Bizarro, go save Superman, and then he just goes to kill him. I would just chuckle at being able to phrase things the way I could phrase it around Bizarro.
Yeah, I don't...
We're going to kill the League, and then Bizarro goes, what? Kill the League? We're going to save the League. Oh, okay.
I don't want to say Cheetah, because I don't think Wonder Woman has any like really super strong villains or interesting villains for me personally. But
I mean, like some of her greatest villains are just basically Greek gods, and that's fine.
Yeah, but they're not going to be on like Luthor's Legion of Doom.
Yeah, I don't think Ares is going to sign up for that shit.
Yeah, like Circe's not going to be like, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll go hang out with Lex
when it
Luthor.
gets into the magical villains, that's when I could see some of her people finally getting in there. Like,
Yeah.
If it's actually Circe, I could see her being like, yeah, sure, I'll participate. And then the whole time, Luther's just side-eyeing her like, yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah. I don't know. Ultra Humanite, I feel like it's got to be in there.
Sinestro.
Yeah, I could deal with Sinestro. I'd be okay with Sinestro.
He's a big one for me. He's a big hitter.
Yeah, he is.
You want that guy on your team.
I would agree with that. Probably.
I mean,
You know who should be on the Legion of Doom, but Luthor would have to pay him out the ass. Lobo.
oh God, yeah, you wouldn't.
How do you
only
have?
Luthor would have the money for that, but
How do you have someone as metal as Lobo and not put him on the Legion of Doom, the most metal name in the DC universe? Like,
I think it's because of exactly what you just said. I think because I don't know how much it's known. Like if you were Lex Luthor in the universe as it existed before a couple months ago, if you knew Lobo was one of the most badass motherfuckers in the universe, that dude can stand toe to toe with Superman. I need this guy on my team.
yeah.
I think there's a part of you that knows I can only buy him as long as I can buy him.
Right.
And a part of you must know that somebody like Bruce Wayne can come by and just buy this dude.
Yeah, absolutely. See, the problem with Legion
That
of
would be the
Doom-
big turn. That would be the big turn in the issue. Is like Lobo would just turn on the rest of Legion of Doom. Is like, dude, sorry guys, bigger buyer, and then just start swinging his fucking hook at somebody.
The great thing about the Legion of Doom, as portrayed in say Harley Quinn, the animated series, is that Legion of Doom is more of a club where all the supervillains kind of hang out and get their shit together for their own individual things and get funding from each other, or get funding to do their schemes. Whereas
group activity.
if we're talking about Lobo would be a perfect fit for something like the Injustice Gang, where Lex is just, okay, we are doing these 3 jobs and I need you to keep the League at bay. It's, it's a finite amount of time I'm paying Lobo. And we know he's paying the others as well, but, this is how much I'm paying you, period. And whereas Legion of Doom is more of a club. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to pay Lobo to be a part of the Legion of Doom, nor would he be a part of it. But he might be a part of an Injustice Gang.
Actually, that's a good point. Lobo is the epitome of I wouldn't be a member of a club that would have me.
Well, unless he shows up to take over for Superman, like he did in the Justice League animated series when they thought Superman was dead. He showed up wanting to be a part of the League.
It was a departure, I think, from the character. I just genuinely don't think there's a version you could write where he's not just there to make a few bucks so he can go get some space hookers and some space booze.
Maybe.
That to me, that is just integral to his character.
Give him a good enough reason, he'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
Plus, I feel like Lobo is like DC's Wolverine. He's just not utilized. He's basically Wolverine. You can't kill him. Do something cool with him.
He is, but his backstory is destroying his entire planet for fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to write in.
But with Lobo,
I don't want to talk about it.
But with Lobo, you could be like, "Hey, man, what do you do that for?" They were a bunch of assholes. The tone of that guy is just, he is like
bunch of dickweeds. Get rid of him.
It's like how Deathstroke is a super serious character, and his backstory is weird and tragic. Mm-hmm. And Marvel turned him into a joke and created Deadpool.
Yeah.
And in this case, DC basically took Wolverine, threw him in outer space, and turned him into a joke. Let's have some fun with the guy.
For the same reason, I would not want Deathstroke on my team. Well, same reason is that eventually you gotta pay him.
Hey, that's actually a good answer for the strange team ups question we had a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I say Deadpool and Lobo. Can we have that? Can we see that? Mm-hmm. All right.
He's going to keep calling the team Lobo Stroke or Stroke Lobo.
Yep. Chris Baga has more questions.
Uh-huh.
Any hidden comic book gems on DC Universe that you would recommend checking out that some may have slept on / missed on first run? I just found Flex Mentallo 4-issue run by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. That is so far pretty good. I have a number of them. Do you have anything?
Other than the Injustice stuff, no.
Injustice,
now, there's plenty of stuff that I've been reading that's finally shown up there, like the beginning of the Michael Bendis Superman run that's definitely really good. But stuff that I've had time to check out now.
I would say the early aughts Batgirl series that Damian Scott drew was fantastic. That introduced Cassie Kane as Batgirl. Fantastic. Robin 2, The Joker's Wild from 1991, Chuck Dixon and Tom Lyle. It's one of my favorite things ever. JLA Year 1 by Mark Waid. That's from 1997. That's fantastic. Mark Waid and Brian Augustine. Genesis.
That was something we were going to do for Jason's Pull List at some point, and we just lost time. But I'm staring at a copy of it right now that's on my... It's one of the 8 things I have a bookmark in that I can see from here. There are about 20-something things I have a bookmark in.
Genesis by John Byrne, 97. I don't want to say it was good, but it's one of those things that's like, it's better than you think it's going to be. Like, it pretty much, it was my big introduction to the New Gods, and it'll always have like a special place in my heart for it. And I thought it had some really interesting story elements. Everything, the whole JLA run by Morrison, and then subsequently Mark Waid, Howard Porter, all of that was great from 97 on, and all of that's on DC Universe. I almost wanted to reread it. There's a 1997 one-shot called Batman Mr. Freeze that Paul Dini did with Mark Buckingham that sort of retold Heart of Ice and put it in the mainstream comic continuity, and that was fantastic. A DC Comics 1995 annual was like DC Comics featuring Batman number 8. That was an origin story for the Riddler with the Year 1 banner, and that was by Chuck Dixon and Kieran Dwyer. That was fantastic. I could probably go on and on and on. Like, there's a lot of stuff to get to, y'all. I have a lot of favorites.
If I just look at the ongoing, they've got the starts of Justice League Odyssey. They've got the Action Comics run by Bendis. Oh, shit.
Batgirl Year 1 was great.
The beginning is a Batman with that. Superman, again by Bendis. Justice League Dark, like I talked about earlier, is there. The Detective Comics run is really good. What do they have under trending? I'm just curious. All right, Batman Who Laughs. Oh, fuck you. Just go read that.
Yeah. Oh, the original Young Justice run with Peter David.
Oh, this is funny. Doomsday Clock is there, but only like the first 9 issues because it's... Don't read that yet. Just wait.
Wait.
Like, it won't do you any good. And it's so complicated, by the time they actually release the other couple issues, you're just going to forget what the fuck happened.
Anything that's The Flash by Mark Waid.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, also, Joshua Williamson's done a pretty good job with The Flash. I've really enjoyed his run on it. I think he's still on the book.
Oh, good.
He's the one who came up with the new run with the Paradox character and everything. Dark Knight's Metal is there. Justice League is there. Like, again, under my banner of if Scott Snyder touched it, you should grab it.
Yeah.
Heroes in Crisis is there. That was really good. Like, I wish it wrapped up slightly differently than it did, but it wasn't a matter of what happened. It was a matter of slightly just how the last 2 issues went down, like presentation wise. I just wish I could have reordered how bits of it came out, but otherwise, like, the story itself was fantastic.
Yeah. You can go to DC Universe and type in Darwin Cook. Any and everything that pops
just
up.
hit everything that happens. Yeah. Oh, hell.
I'm surprised you didn't say Animal Man.
Is that on there? Oh, shit.
I don't know. I haven't looked. Mostly despite you.
Despite my insistence that you would love this so much.
How many things?
DC Nation shorts. No, I got some couple storylines from them, but not exactly what I'm looking. Like, I'm looking for the Animal Man Grant Morrison omnibus, effectively.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it's not there. It's not there yet.
Sad.
Yeah, you say that. You don't know that you mean that, but you say that.
Oh, but how long have I been saying, "Hey man, watch the rest of Breaking Bad and watch Better Call Saul"?
I know.
Hey man, check out Primer. Please watch Primer. You won't watch it. Like, I mean,
you
should watch Malcolm in the Middle. I'm not gonna do it.
Actually, I have watched most of Malcolm in the Middle.
Have you?
It has to do with my wife having watched Malcolm in the Middle. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed every second that I walked through and looked at. I get it. I don't disagree. Just hadn't happened.
There's some bit. Oh God, I don't remember it. Never mind. Just I don't even. Some bit about with Malcolm asking Bryan Cranston if he believes in ghosts. That's just so fantastic. Where he's like, "What? Like people floating around going boo? Pff, no, that's ridiculous." But souls detached from their dead bodies, caught in a never-ending in-between place, screaming and howling in eternal pain? Absolutely. Something like that. I don't remember exactly.
See, that feels too real to me in a way. Where on the one hand, I'm like, I don't know, man, fucking spiritualism, but the never-ending possibilities of quantum mechanics, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. Travis Hines asks, do you think DC Universe should just market its comic reader to its international fans? I know I would pay $5 to $10 a month for just the comic content, and I don't think I'm alone. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, they should.
It's one of the great mysteries. I do not understand why this hasn't launched internationally in almost any capacity. I just don't get it. It's one of those things I wish I had more insight for.
He also says things like Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited are not on streaming services in my country either. Yep, that is a damn shame.
It really is.
That is
just
disgusting.
Genuinely is.
And that's the end. That's all we have.
Well, fine then.
I know. It happened so quickly.
Yeah. Well, it's bound to. The fact that it's not international has baffled me from day one. So I genuinely... Every time I see an article about the DC Universe or its possible futures, anytime it hasn't given me some glimpse at why it's not international, I again fail to understand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I wish I could get an interview with someone who did and figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, me too, man.
Seems like money on the table that's just not being gobbled up, and I don't know.
I agree.
I am befuddled as well.
Here's the thing. Comic books are way, way, way more popular in Japan than they are here. What are we doing, y'all?
What? Just make this a thing. I don't know. I don't know either. I really don't.
I'm gonna call it though. We're damn near to 2 hours in our recording.
Yeah, and it's only a matter of the time before the families flip out.
Mm-hmm. My wife's coming home. Your wife and kid are apparently coming apart.
No, it's about time to put the one down for the night.
Oh, for the night. I'm glad you added that part because I was like, oh no, what? Which one?
My wife hates it when I phrase it that way. But I do it without thinking. Like it doesn't strike me the same way. Like I'll just constantly, when Evelyn starts to get tired, I'll just kind of tell Christian like, yeah, it's time to put it down.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of like at some point I think she got jaded to it, but she used to tell me over and over again, like, stop phrasing it that way. I'm like, I don't have the context for that. Like this happens every day. I've had to put a dog down like twice in my life.
Right.
In my entire life. This is a daily event. To me, that's where that phrase should rest.
You should just, instead of saying it's time to put her down, just pick her up and say, all right, come on, old yeller.
I asked her one time, I was like, what's the alternative? Put her to sleep?
Oh, that's not pretty bad too.
Yeah, like there's no version of euthanizing a dog that hasn't been turned into some playable version of just putting her to rest.
It always, that kind of stuff always just reminds me of Pulp Fiction, where John Travolta is talking, Vincent Vega is telling Jules like, the boss wants me to take care of her, talking about Marcellus Wallace's wife. And Sam Jackson looks at him and puts his fingers up to his temple and go, take care of her.
What are we talking about?
No, take her out, show her a good time. Oh. Yeah,
I get it.
All right, we are DC On Screen. You can find every episode for free at dconscreen.com. Well, I should say every episode except for our Patreon episodes, which you can find at patreon.com/dconscreen. $1 gets you this show, the normal show, the weekly free show, ad-free.
Mm-hmm.
$5 a
know,
month gets you that and special episodes like Jason's Pull List and Chasing Squirrels and my new show How Now, where I talk about whatever the hell I feel like. And happens to be this last week I did a Batman Adventures Continue review. Almost an interview. I said, I didn't interview
pick that issue up at some point, but I just didn't. And it's not an option at the moment.
Oh, no, you can get it on Kindle or get it on Amazon, 99 cents. You can even subscribe. It'll go straight to your Kindle. That's how I'm doing it. What say you, old man Jason? Oh, okay.
I'll find it later. I may not, unless How Now talks me out of it.
Check it out, kids. Looks like old man Jason wants those kids to get off his lawn.
Mm-hmm. A thought that's crossed my mind before, but yeah, sure.
Well, until next time, you guys have got some quarantine time, I hope. Keep some DC on your screen. Some TC on your screen? Is this Magnum PI? Keep some DC on your screen.
Go ahead and write in if you want Dave to just pre-record all of the stuff that's the intro and the outros so he stops fucking it up.
That doesn't sound fun. Bye.
Bye.
Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.